Hey, everybody, we have our first situation in the NFL with an injured quarterback. As we all know, the San Francisco 49ers were the first team to go to their quarterback with an injured for an injury, just hopefully for a week or two, with Mac Jones getting the start for Brock Purdy. But now we have our first serious multiple week, multiple month, who knows what the heck's going to happen with this quarterback injury. And it belongs to the Cincinnati Bengals and Joe Burrow. And I guess the Bengals fans are sitting there saying, can we just finally be 2-0 in peace? Is that entirely possible? From 2019 to 2024, under Zach Taylor, the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, coming from out here in Los Angeles from the Sean McVay staff, the Bengals were 1-11 in the first 2 weeks of the season combined. Just one win to 11 losses in the first 2 weeks of an NFL season. And here they are finally 2-0, doubling up the number of wins in the first 2 weeks of this season than they had in the first 2 weeks of the first 6 seasons with Zach Taylor as their head coach. They finally got it done, but I guess the price to pay was Joe Burrow's big toe. I mean, and when he went down, I thought he was going to get up because it looked innocuous. The sack that he suffered at the hands of the Jacksonville Jaguars looked completely innocuous, and then all of a sudden, something was seriously up, and he couldn't walk. And I thought to myself for a split second, could this be an Achilles injury? Another one of these things where we can't see it coming, and then all of a sudden the entire season gets altered. But there he goes, needing now, according to every single report you see out there, surgery that will cause him to miss at least, wait for it, 3 months.
Wow.
And off goes Joe Burrow again. And at some point, we're going to start talking about how, injury prone the guy is and whether that's fair or not. But here we go again, where something's up. Either it's 1 year where Burrow's hurt and the season goes down the tubes, or Burrow's hurt and can't rehab in the offseason, where he's spending his entire offseason rehabbing. So when he is healthy, it's something that the Bengals can't overcome. Man, it's just, again, how precious it is in the NFL to be healthy, and how 1 year you go to the Super Bowl and it's just like he is going to go every single year. And now here we go again, where we're wondering if the Cincinnati Bengals can forget the Super Bowl. I mean, just win their division. And I will just say this. Mike, our good friend years ago, Jim Morris Sr., once upon a time said this on a post-game show with the New Orleans Saints when they were, I guess, 1-3 or something like that. And he went and he flipped out. He wigged out at the sense that the Saints should start already turning the page and looking to next year. And he said this.
Season is not over.
I mean, we love our senior. I will say this to Bengals fans. The season is not over. I know. Chris,
I don't know.
I said this on the Overreaction Monday podcast that we just recorded and just finished, and I'll repeat it here on what we call the flagship. If I told you going into yesterday's game against the Jacksonville Jaguars that the Bengals would in fact be 2-0 for the first time in Zach Taylor's tenure, that the slow start that has been the bugaboo of this team would be out the gate, done, forget it, you're 2-0. The defense balled out in Cleveland and did just enough against Trevor Lawrence and a clearly stronger on offense with Travis Etienne and now a two-way threat in Travis Hunter and Trevor Lawrence looking better, even though he's waving Liam Cohen off at one point, and that the Bengals defense would do just enough to win this game instead of losing it, and that the Bengals would also see Jamar Chase come up with his 8th career game with 150 or more receiving yards and a receiving touchdown. He had 165 receiving yards on 14 catches on Sunday. If I told you that Jamar Chase would be doing such a thing, you would have told me, okay, this team can go to the Super Bowl. And Joe Burrow's looking great with Chase. It's Jake Browning who did it. I will say once again, we saw Jake Browning a couple of years ago be the darling of fantasy football. I think Jake Browning won some people fantasy football leagues a couple of years ago. And I know this is reality football. And I know that he threw 3 interceptions coming off the bench. But I think we can give the guy a little bit of a break because I don't think he saw any of this coming, nor did I, nor did obviously Burrow, leaving the game in the second quarter with that toe injury that's going to have him out for 3 months. And that they did get a nice piece of officiating for them. I didn't think that was pass interference on Travis Hunter at all. I thought Travis Hunter played that ball very well. That gave a fresh set of downs to the Bengals in their game-winning drive, which is the 3rd career game-winning drive led by Jake Browning. The first one was Week 12 against Jacksonville. 2 years ago when Jacksonville's entire season got upended with Trevor Lawrence getting hurt in that Monday night game, if you recall, and then it wasn't the same all next year, and yada, yada, yada. It's Liam Cohen on the sideline now. I think Jake Browning can win just enough games for this team to be not only above water, but a threat on offense. And we're going to be talking about, is this defense going to be doing just enough for Jake Browning? My concern is, can you protect him? I saw over and over and over again, repeated into my Threads timeline last night. Somebody, I don't know if it was a tweet or a post on Threads, but somebody said, what, there's 100 million obese people in America and they can't find 5 in Cincinnati to protect Joe Burrow?
Pretty funny.
Wow.
Pretty funny. A little aggressive.
Well, it's aggressive on just Americans' obesity, as well as, I think the skill set of you got to be more than just fat to be an offensive lineman.
Yeah.
But I think it all just is said and done. Like, can the Cincinnati Bengals do just enough to protect Jake Browning? Because once again, Burrow is being picked up the turf, injured. I don't think the season's over. I think Jake Browning is better than maybe a third of the starting quarterbacks in the NFL. How does that sound?
Oh, really? Whoa. That's a bold statement, Richard.
I think Jake Browning is that good.
Can we go through the list?
I think Jake Browning. I don't want to do that. I think Jake Browning is the best backup quarterback in the NFL. And that's why I don't even think they should call Atlanta right now. And I know everybody's thinking,
I was just about to say
get Kirk Cousins on the phone, because he looked miserable last night. Sunday Night Football, NBC cameras kept finding him. By the way, he's keeping his helmet on his head like he's ready. Like, I'm so ready to get in there right now. My helmet's on. I don't even have to find my helmet.
Like that.
You know what I mean?
He stays ready, so he don't got to get ready.
Right, Dad?
Yeah, exactly,
I mean, could you imagine? Listen, all I know is that if Brock Osweiler was wearing his helmet, he might have gotten in the game that one time for Peyton Manning.
He wasn't.
Remember that famous
I
chip?
know.
He was looking
He
for his
almost-
helmet.
He's like, what is it?
Out
Peyton just
goes-
went back
out
in.
goes Peyton, and he's just like this. Hey, I mean, Kirk's, it's not his first rodeo, sir. Honestly, and I think Atlanta, and we'll ask this of Albert Breer later on when he joins us in hour 2, because everybody's basically saying Kirk Cousins is begging to get out of Atlanta, and Atlanta is trying to get rid of him, and because, they're paying all this money to a backup quarterback, and so on and so forth. There's enough time between now and the trade deadline for Jake Browning to prove me right. And if I'm proven wrong, there's more than enough time to call up Atlanta and say, we've got ourselves a situation here in Cincinnati. And you think Kirk Cousins would get that phone call and say anything but, when's the next flight to go to? I get to throw to Jamar Chase and T. Higgins and have Chase Brown.
Let me check.
I don't care that there's an offensive line that seemingly can't pull it together. That's my concern. Can you protect Browning? Can you figure that out? Maybe that's what they should do with the trade deadline instead of going and finding themselves another quarterback, because I like Jake Browning a lot. And Jordan Palmer was the first to tell us about him when in 2023 when Burrow went down, and he's like, hey, I think Browning's going to get this team where it needs to go. Anyway, here we are again. Burrow hurt, Browning in. Everyone wondering if the season is over for the Cincinnati Bengals. It's just 2 weeks. They are next in Minnesota. Last night, as we saw, J.J. McCarthy is struggling most of the time. And you go up there and put some points on the board, and the Vikings might be very hard-pressed to match it. They could be 3-0. The Monday Nighter at Denver, that's a different story. That's a higher register situation. Yeah, maybe Jake Browning can go and do that before Detroit comes back in, and we saw what Detroit proved on Sunday.
Good.
And we'll discuss exactly in detail what that is before a big game at Green Bay. I mean, it's not going to be easy. AFC North plays the NFC North. So those are two of the arguably toughest divisions in football. Although, crazy stat, as of this very recording, the Cincinnati Bengals are one of 3 AFC teams, only 3 AFC teams to be 2-0. As many 2-0 teams as there are in the NFC West. Crazy, true. And tonight, in the last game of week 2, and the back end of the doubleheader on the Disney family of networks, the winner of that game in Vegas between the Raiders and Chargers will be the 4th 2-0 team to emerge from the AFC unscathed through 2 weeks. With the Bills, Bengals, wait for it, Colts, and either Chargers/Raiders being the 4th. But one of them already being on their backup quarterback for 3 months. I say, hold the phone. Let's see what Jake Browning can do. And maybe, just maybe, you should go into the trade market for any team that's willing to flip you their offensive lineman. And I don't care how much that person costs. And then maybe Burrow comes back for their playoff run. Tells Browning, thank you. I'm Joe Burrow. I'm coming in your building. You're coming in ours because Browning did such a good job. Crazier things have happened. Like, say, Russell Wilson throwing for 450 yards passing and almost making TJ Sunday completely miserable. Crazier things have happened.
There are a couple of direct flights from Atlanta to Cincinnati.
I have a feeling, sir,
today.
he will not be going through, what, Hartsfield?
Yeah. It's only a 1 hour and 20-minute flight. There's one left in first class, if he's curious.
I think he'll be heading to what we call a fixed-based operator.
Good job, Rich.
Thank you, sir.
FBO for those. FBO for those.
Okay. I have a feeling Kirk's going to just fire up the PJ, and I don't mean pajamas.
There's 2 left at the 420 flight.
And
in
at this
first class.
point in time, I know you keep pushing it. I think Jake Browning's the best backup quarterback in the NFL, and I know you don't,
I'm
hand
just
out
over
any.
looking.
I know you don't hand out any jackets and busts for that sort of thing. Hey, you made it all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Check us out every single day streaming live on Disney Plus and the ESPN app 12 to 3 Eastern.